Hello, and welcome to the Kendo UI for Angular docs. My name is Alyssa Nichol, Senior Developer Advocate at Progress, and I will be guiding you through not only getting started with our grid, but also walking you through some of its key features. Our grid is our most powerful and commonly used component, and we're so excited to share its feature set with you. Let's dive into how you get started with Kendo UI for the Angular grid component. The Angular ecosystem is currently in flux between a module and standalone world. So the getting started flow for Kendo UI and many other dependencies in your Angular applications will change quite a bit over the next few years, as more things support or even require standalone. It can be a bit confusing, so let's go ahead and outline the possible path options so you know which getting started tutorial to follow. At the current time during the recording of this video, there are two options available. The first is NGModule-based, and the second is standalone applications, aka using our hybrid approach. It's important to note that many times in our docs, you'll see two subpaths that you can take when installing: a quick setup path using the CLI and a manual one, doing all the steps the CLI would usually do for you, but instead doing each of those steps yourself. A manual setup is required in some projects, for example, ones that use feature modules to separate concerns and are unable to use the CLI to install dependencies in submodules. In this video series, I will use the quick setup for instructions, but I'll be sure to detail out exactly what the CLI is doing in case you need to do those steps manually yourself. Our Getting Started docs for the Kendo UI Angular grid point to two different places to explain these install paths in further details. You can refer to our documentation for further help with these paths, among many other things. Our team has spent a lot of time recently updating our documentation and ensuring they all have the info you need to flourish with our components. So check them out. If your application uses modules, you can still import those for Kendo UI components. However, we recommend you import the utility arrays for each component or set of components that you're using, aka the hybrid approach. So for example, all grid components and directives are logically combined into a single utility array that you can directly import in your standalone component. At the same time, you can still import individual components, directives, and pipes from the grid API. One day, Kendo UI will be fully updated and moduleless. At that time, path number 1 with modules will be deprecated, and the hybrid standalone path will be the primary path suggested to developers moving forward. Right now, however, going fully moduleless is not our primary goal. We're going to take the long-term hybrid approach to support both users with modules and those without. Currently, as long as you're at least on version 15 of Angular, you'll continue to receive updates and bug fixes. However, it is an imperfect world, and we realize that bleeds into development. You don't always get to choose what version of Angular your application is on. So for this reason, the team's added version flags to our Kendo UI for Angular repo. Simply check out the minimum Angular version requirement flag here on GitHub to find out which version of Kendo UI that you need. Now that I've outlined the possible install paths for your Kendo UI Angular journey, you can begin by selecting the proper path and following along the video tutorials and docs. Happy coding, everyone!